And if you're old enough, you know what the General Lee is. Anybody know what the General Lee is? All right, guys, so when you get in your car and you start it up, this is what you'll see. So get a good view of this. This is the area here. So I'm gonna start it up. Start button is down here with it's like a little power button. It is extremely loud. That is for sure. Let's power that off. So this is what you'll see. So right now the car is at 76%, and it is got 191 miles, or excuse me, well, 190 miles on it. Regular gear shifter, nothing too crazy. I actually like having a regular gear shifter in here. So been driving this car now for almost 250 miles, and got the windows tinted on it recently, so I'll show you that. But we're just gonna go for a little cruise here, have a little conversation. So I was driving this the other day, and a gentleman, why I don't know, but a gentleman in an RT Charger, I mean, they were just having a blast, just like revving and all this other stuff, and he made the mistake of trying to race. So I'm sure he'll have some crazy story about how he raced a new Charger and he killed it, but that just wouldn't be true. That wouldn't be true. He got walked. I don't know why a regular RT Charger would try to race this RT Charger with this car having way more horsepower, all-wheel drive, and everything under the sun in comparison. So anyway, that story's over. RT Chargers, just don't even try. I don't know why you would. So again, driving this car for almost 250 miles, and it is a very comfortable ride. Obviously, all new cars are very comfortable when you first get them. That's a given. But this is the new electric Charger. I already put up a video in the past on the pricing and everything I paid for it. But what I didn't tell you is that I sold the Model Y Model Y dual motor that I had for this car. And that's why this car is the same color, same black wheels and everything. Yeah, I got rid of the Model Y for this car. I thought this was a much better deal than the Model Y. This feels like a regular car. It's an EV, but it feels like a regular car. It feels good. I'll go over the infotainment center and stuff while I'm not driving and tell you some dislikes that I have and things like that. But had this car now for about a week, and it's good, folks. It's a good car. There's no getting around it. It's a really good car. It's just muscle heads, no pun intended, muscle car heads, V8 people who feel like muscle car. I remember when Ford put a 4-cylinder in the Mustang, and I remember when the Camaros were 4 cylinders and 6 cylinders. Those cars are fast. I mean, those cars have more power than you need for the road. And this car will never see the track. To be honest, this is a car that my wife's going to daily drive, because she was daily driving the Model Y since we sold both of the Model 3s that we had from 23. And so she's going to daily drive this. I'm not even going to daily drive this. I'm hopping in it now, because I probably won't ever see it again. She'll keep me locked out of this thing, man. She was surprised when I surprised her with it, came home, was like, hey, here you go, surprise. She was like, what? But yeah, this car is definitely a nice car. There's a lot about it that if you're just driving it, you're just going to be in a nice car. You're not going to be saying to yourself, oh, I'm in the new electric Dodge Charger. That's not going to be your mindset. That won't be your mindset. You're just going to say to yourself, I'm in the new Dodge Charger, and wow, everybody's staring at me. Because that's pretty much what I've been going through the whole time with this car. Anytime I've gotten in it, and she's told me stories of people giving her a thumbs down while she's driving, she just waves at them. I think it's weird the way people do certain things. They just push their intrusive thoughts out into the world. It's weird, but hey, to each your own. I can tell you this car is an amazing car for just being a car. It's built very well. I haven't seen too many people talk about the build quality, but the car is built extraordinary, man. it's really good. It's a nice, well-built car. And there's nothing to complain about the build quality. And I'll show you the exterior. I gave the exterior a nice once over, just kind of, feeling it out, looking at it, seeing how I would like it. And it's just a really nice, well-built car. The steering wheel is easy to drive because the steering wheel is like the steering wheel in my E-Ray. It's the squared off steering wheel, really nice. It's just the interior is well put together. I don't feel like it has too much hard plastic and things like that. Some of these cars are expensive to a lot of people, but they're not expensive to me because driving the Mercedes, this is not, I won't even compare interiors. This car is well built and a nice interior for a Dodge Charger. It is definitely an upgrade in interior for anyone who has one of the previous generation Dodge Chargers. You will love this interior. You still get a full back seat. I did a test. I went somewhere and the guys were like, "Oh man, you gotta take me for a ride." And I was like, "Cool, I'll take you for a ride." So the heavier, chunky guy got in the back, the bigger guy got in the back, and the other guy was about 6'5", like me or so, 6'4", and he got in the front. And they both had ample leg room. I mean, it's just amazing how much room. This is a 4-door car in a 2-door body. That's all it is. So I wanted to show it to you out. This isn't me just test drive. I own this car. So, and I did a lease, like I told you guys in the other video. I did a lease on it, which is too good of a deal. Again, if you have good credit, folks, just lease this car. If you just really want to experience it, man, you can't see it, but there's a guy next to me wanting to race and revving up his Dodge Ram. So stupid. It happens all the time, man. It happens all the time. It seems like people just want to. One thing I did notice, though, bringing this car out, people are just like, "I've never seen one before." They're just like, "I've never seen one before. It's amazing," and the phones come out. But anyway, build quality, folks, this thing is built extraordinarily well in comparison to the other Dodge Chargers that are on the road, the older generations. And so this is a beautiful upgrade. And so another thing I think that if Dodge would have put a V8 Hemi in this car, there would be no complaints from anybody. For some reason, everybody wants bad fuel economy and they like to make a lot of noise. I used to be that person that I just had to have a V8, but the last cars I bought were turbo inline 6 and EVs, aside from the E-Ray being the 6.2 liter V8. But yeah, this is a nicely put together car, and it is not like what you think. It's not like what you think. It's definitely got a lot of power, and I think a lot of people, if you get a chance to drive this, you're going to be impressed. Now, I saw someone take this car to the track racing a Performance Model Y, and this car ran a 12, and the Performance Model Y ran a 12 as well. So this car, they can label it a muscle car all they want. It's a muscle car. If that's what Dodge thinks it is, so what? I'm just a consumer buying it because it looks really good. It is an EV, so there's no fuel, there's no maintenance. There's a lot to like about owning an EV. A lot of people, I used to be that person that was deterred about EVs, but once I started driving them, I was like, oh man, yeah, this is a win. Like no maintenance, nothing. So aside from this car having really good interior, I didn't opt for like the really base ones. This is a stage 1 with stage 1 package. I think it's $5,000. Got the glass roof, got the color changed, and got the black top package. And so this has the nicer 20-inch wheels on it. The 18-inch wheels, like I said, they're just not good looking to me. So this one has a decrease in range. So the top range on this is 270, if you were wondering. And that's if you're driving in eco mode. And I'm driving in eco mode right now. So eco mode gives me about 10 more miles. 10 to 15 more miles, because I've already tested it. You can literally see the miles change when you turn on eco mode and turn it off. So just bear that in mind. The mileage that Dodge is kicking out, so if you buy this car in a base configuration with no options, you get 317 miles, but that's in eco mode. So real world, that car will get about 300 miles or so if you turn off eco mode. When I turn off eco mode in this car, I get about 250. So yeah, about 250. And with eco mode on, then you can get that 270 or 268 or whatever it claims on the window sticker. So just bear that in mind when you decide to look into leasing this car. And I'm making this video because there are a lot of people interested in this car. They're just afraid to pull the trigger. But I always tell people, do you, man. Live your life. Don't watch other people live theirs. If you're interested in this car, who cares what everybody else thinks? But the best way to go, though, I will tell you, is to lease it. Even though if you have good credit and you qualify for the 0% for 72 months, I just wouldn't see myself locking in with this car. Now, who knows, when this lease is up, when the lease is up and if the car value is high, then I'll consider buying it instead of getting another one. But I probably would, knowing me, I'll swap out and get the new model of whatever is out. You know what I mean? I get the new model of this car because this is a 3-year lease. It was just so cheap. I got the lease at 0%. It was just so cheap to when comparing to some other people's car notes. Because as you know me, I don't like car notes. I typically buy cars cash, but I've never leased a car before, and so this is my first lease in my entire life. I was gonna say elderly, but I don't consider myself elderly. But yeah, man, this is a comfortable ride. It's got really good interior for those who are wondering if you have one of the old. I actually spoke to a gentleman when I was getting the windows tinted, and he has a scat pack. He was like, man, the scat pack is 485 horsepower. And this car is 496 horsepower, but you get this power shop button, folks, and this power shop button is no joke. You get a burst okay, so here's the difference. If you're going slower, it'll only give you about 10 seconds worth of the burst, but if you're going faster, you get 30 seconds on the burst of power. It's really impressive. It's impressive. So I'm here to tell you, as an owner of the car, I think a lot of people and all the naysayers, you can drive it for a few minutes if you want to, but I'm telling you, this car is extremely impressive. And I think if more people could get their hands on it and get away from Dodge's bad marketing. Dodge marketed this car wrong. They should have just said, hey, we've got a couple of stages of the Dodge Charger coming first. We're going to abide by the rules, and we got to bring out an electric version. And then just bring this car out just as the electric Charger. But they're promoting it as the fastest and most powerful electric car. That's just not true, because as a person who owns a car that costs a lot less, like half the price, and it's faster, yeah, it's not. This isn't the fastest car on the road. My other car could smoke this car. It could probably even smoke the Scat Pack version of this car. So I think that, when it comes to price, folks, don't worry about the price. Just lease it. Lease it for 2 years, 3 years, then turn it in. If you have good credit, even if you don't have, I keep saying if you have good credit, if you don't have good credit, you'll still, I guess you'll fare well on, the leasing process. I guess you'll do well. I mean, I don't know. I haven't had bad credit in 40 years, so I don't know, and I don't want to go back to that. So it was a situation when I was younger. It was a situation. I can't front. I'm so far from perfect. My credit used to be horrible. I'll share a true story. My credit score used to be like 495. Oh my God, what was I thinking? I was just not smart as a younger guy. Something, you get a little reckless, and you do your thing. It's totally possible. But from a real world perspective and a real owner, and just a real person's point of view who actually owns the car, I'm telling you, folks, you will not be disappointed if you're a Charger owner and you want to try something new. I just guarantee it for you. You're going to get a better driving experience. It's more powerful. It's just that it's electric and it has the fake sounds of an exhaust. I got to tell you, I kind of hated on the sounds myself. I was like, that sounds weird. But then after I drove it for a while, I was like, wow, it's different. It's just not a real exhaust. It's an electric car, folks. It's an electric car. So see it that way. And you can turn off the sound. Like you might be able to hear a little bit of the humming sound as I drive now because I have the sound on. And I'll give you an official startup in a second here. But yeah, this car it's a fun car, man. Look, I'm not even gonna front and tell you that it's not fun. It's fun. It's a fun car. It's a great looking car, as you're about to see here in a moment. This car looks phenomenal. It's a fun car. It's going to be a good daily driver. I think my wife will really enjoy this car. So now I'm going to hop out and show you the exterior. But before I do that, I will, you can kind of hear like this little woo, woo sound. Before I show you the exterior, I'm going to pull the camera down here and I'm going to show you the infotainment center. So you do have these pages that you can go through here. You press this button here and it changes the driving screen. So this is a very cool animation here on the driving screen. You can just have it any way you want. I just have it on, that was the maps, but you can have it on the regular. This is the way I keep it right here. And then this is the infotainment center. So this infotainment center, it's okay. It's not the best. It's really glitchy if you ask me. It's just not, it's okay. It's kind of glitchy at times. The screen will be unresponsive sometimes, but I'm told by Dodge that there's a recall on this area right here. There's a recall on this area, and I'll take it in for service. So that's the one thing that out of the gate, I was like, man, this is horrible. It works, let's just say 85% of the time, because this car is affected with a recall. There are some cars that have recall on this area right here. And some people are saying that there's a recall on the door. If you open the passenger door too many times, it'll brick the car. That's only on specific, that is true, but that's on specific VIN numbers. And my VIN wasn't affected by that, but that is true. So this area, you can control your AC seats and heated seats, heated steering wheel, you mute the power to the radio, and this is how you go through all of the different menus here. And again, this is how you start the car. This is your emergency brake, and this is the gear shifter. And this interior has ambient lighting all along the entire car, and it says Daytona right there. I think that is super cool. Up here, you have this section here where you can open the rear hatch here, because this is a hatch, believe it or not. And you got your assist, your SOS, and your lighting and things like that. And again, this steering wheel is a nice steering wheel. So I'm going to power off here. As you can see here, it shows you information when you power off, the different levels, which I think that's cool. They did give us, there you go, I got 249 miles. They did give us, you have the option to choose. And let me get out of the car here and then I'll talk some more. All right, so it is very sunny out. So just bear that in mind. I don't like to film when it's too sunny, but it's early in the morning. Well, not too early, it's like 9 o'clock. I've been up all morning, but I decided to bring it out. So we're gonna give you a once over of the car. So this is what the car looks like. Now you can see why I replaced the Model Y with this car, because I pretty much got the same color combination. My car has the blacktop package and stage 1 and glass roof and color change. So these are the wheels that I think are definitely, the 18-inch wheels are nice. They're not as nice as these though. The 18-inch wheels make this car really look like ugh, to me, in my humble opinion. So just got the windows tinted, so you know what I'm saying, I'm not gonna roll the windows down yet, but I'm sure I could probably do it. It's only been like 24 hours, so I can't yet. But one thing I like about the car is the lighting. This light strip along the whole front here lights up, and then that new Dodge logo lights up right there. Let me see if I can flash the lights. It's really nice. So some cool factors about this car. If you don't get the blacktop package, I don't think you get like this front black splitter, and the mirrors are not black. It's not black along the sides there. But this right here is for aerodynamics, but this is really cool, folks. People notice that and they're like, I would think that would be on the back of the car. And I'm like, I get it. So scat packs have the rear spoiler. They have the rear spoiler here. This one, these RTs do not. So I'm gonna open this hatch here and you're gonna see all this Eagles crap. My wife, let me stop, she might watch this video. I'm Green Bay, she's Eagles. She's got Eagle stuff all over this car. But this is a ginormous hatch, folks. This is a big hatch. And then you can let those seats down right there and it just goes all the way through. Now there could be some disadvantages to this, obviously. There could be some disadvantages because you would think the sound won't be isolated, but believe it or not, these windows are double pane windows. So this car is extremely quiet. So Dodge thought of some things. Check it out. Double pane windows. Dodge thought of some things. They thought of some things on the car. And this is the car, folks. This is a good looking car. I took it to a guy who had never seen one. He thought it was a Challenger. And the first thing he said was, man, those new Challengers, that's the new Challenger? That's nice. I said, no, it's a Charger. And if you're old enough, you know what the General Lee is. Anybody know what the General Lee is? Not the car insurance, folks. If you're old enough, you know, I gotta go back on the other side, the sun's coming this way. If you're old enough, you know what the General Lee is. And so think of it that way. Think of the General Lee. Think of the General Lee. That's what you need to think of. That's what this car is basically the platform of. The General Lee. The Dukes of Hazzard, folks. For the slow people in the back. The Dukes of Hazzard. That is now that you're looking at this body lines of this car, don't you see the General Lee? That year Charger, if you're old enough, you know the year of the Charger, put it down in the comments. That is what this platform is based off of, in my humble opinion. You see the hump on the back there? This is a 4-seater car, man. I hate to say chunky, but I put a big person in the back and a big person in the front. And man, I gotta tell you, they were comfortable and the car still moved out. I even did the power shot with them in it and they were like, whoa. So this car to me, yeah, Dodge is going in a direction that people just want to have something to talk about and complain about, like, oh my God, it's electric. Well, I wasn't a fan of electric cars, but to be able to drive a car that looks, okay, now coming from a person who owns Teslas, now you think about how much you guys hate Teslas. Some people just hate Teslas. You think about coming from a car like that to this, that is a major upgrade because you get all of the goodies. You get all the goodies of a regular style car, but you get electric. It's just that simple. So say what you will about this car. I think it's a freebie to park one of these in the driveway for a couple $100 or $300-400 if you can do it, and then give it back. Drive this until the Hemi version comes out. You know what I'm saying? Because I think once more people go electric, it's not about saving the environment. I don't buy into all that crap. I don't buy into any of that. We're driving electric to save the world. I don't buy into that. What I do buy into after owning EVs for 3 years or 2.5 years, you definitely will enjoy not going to the gas pump and you will enjoy no maintenance. Now, I will say that compared to Tesla, this car already has, one time I had a Tesla and I drove it off the lot and there was something wrong with it and I had to take it in for service. But this car is already going to be in service because there's a recall on that center stack area where the HVAC system is, and sometimes the touchscreen is unresponsive. That's the truth. It doesn't happen all the time, but it happens enough. So I'm just going to take it back to them and I'm going to turn it back over to them and let them fix it and do the recall on it. That's it. And then I'm moving on. All cars break down. All cars have problems. But coming from a Tesla owner, I haven't had any Teslas really that I have to take them back that fast. This car is only a week old at the recording of this video. And it's really windy out, so I hope it's not too bad for the video audio. But yeah, I still like this car better than the Model Y on a bad day. The Model Y is great, but this is way better looking. I get I feel better in this car. You know, I mean, obviously I'm not gonna be driving it, but when the 2 times I've driven it, which is today and yesterday, cause she loves this thing, man. She really sees this as a huge upgrade from the Model Y. But I got to tell you, I'm looking at this car as this is a car that I would drive. Like I would literally drive this car as a daily driver. No maintenance, folks. No gas, no oil changes, no transmission flush, none of that stuff. Yeah. So I think if you can get past the way it sounds, if you don't like how it sounds, turn it off. There's a system setting to turn off sound, and you can just drive completely silent, like the Teslas. But what I will say, I think this car you should keep the sound on. That's what I think. I think you should keep the sound on, and that's the truth. If you turn it off, you're gonna be like, ew. You will say to yourself, oh my God, it's gonna feel weird because I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. I've driven it with the sound off. It just feels weird. It feels like you're not going as fast as you're going. I don't know. That's just me. My wife drives with the sound off when she leaves the house, and then she turns it on when she leaves when she gets out on the road, but I just leave it turned on the times that I've turned on. And when I started up, my neighbors said, "Oh my God, you got a new V8?" And I'm like, "No, this is it's an electric car." And they're just like, "What?" And then they started to say, "Oh, I heard of this, and that's the new." I'm like, yeah. But nonetheless, I'm gonna get out of here, folks. Real owner's perspective. Right now, I'm gonna tell you, I think this car, for a person who's not following what everybody else says and you're doing what you do and you're interested in this car, go for it, man. Go for it. You'll never know if you'll like it until you actually buy it. That's the only thing I can tell you. You won't know if you like it until you buy it, and just lease it. Don't finance it out like that. Just lease it. And I think you're going to be surprised at what you experience. So I'm here to tell you, I like this car. Even though it's not for me, I bought it for her. I like the car. I'm glad I did the upgrades that I did because, again, having it really basic and, no options, it just wasn't the move. This looks really, really good. Now, I was talking about the charger. So this does have DC fast charging. It has level 1, level 2, level 3, basically. And you just pull this down and you can see, there we go. Wow, this isn't even connected. Oh, it's connected right here. Like, man. There we go. So it pops open like that. But I have level 2, so I use this at home. And it's fine, man. It's no problems whatsoever. No problems whatsoever. Now, when you buy the car, unfortunately with them, I shouldn't say unfortunately because Tesla used to give away the chargers, but they don't anymore. You have to buy them, so they're $250. But with Dodge and Stellantis, what they did was they give you an option to take a $600 credit for charging on the go, or you can take the charger if your home has level 2. So I have level 2, but I didn't take the charger because I already have 2 or 3 chargers at home. I took the $600. I was like, because I'm not driving this car around. So they give you, here, I'm gonna show it to you. They give you $600, if you can see that. They give you have the option to take $600 and it expires in 2 years. Or you can take a charger. And I was like, I don't want no charger. I can buy a charger for $100 if I wanted to for level 2 charger. So I already have 3 level 2 chargers at home. My home is upgraded to level 2. So to charge this car to 100%, it took 5 hours or something like that. Right in line with my Teslas, man. So it's a good look, man. I have no complaints. So far, I shouldn't say it because I'm not gonna be daily driving this. So if you see a video on it, that just means she let me drive it for that day. She got out of it for a minute, I snuck and grabbed it. But I will drive it, but I'm not gonna daily drive this. I'm daily driving a different car. So, and I will show you that car shortly. I'll show it to you later this week probably. But I gotta say, she has been happy with this from her perspective, coming from a Model Y. I had the Model Y for about 1.5 years almost, and she was driving it for about 1 year. And so coming from that to this, she is ecstatic. And it's not just because it's a new car. She started to call out things immediately. She was like, oh God, a regular steering wheel. Oh my gosh, regular HVAC buttons. This is the things that she was telling me. And I was like, wow, okay, so cool. She likes she was kind of tickled by the sound, but I think she'll probably drive with the sound off. At first, in that first initial hit, that first day, she was really in awe, but then she drove it all week and then, she kind of got her groove and she likes it. So I'll say, man, I think if you decide once again to pull the trigger on this, take the $600 for the charging, that's for sure. You can get on Amazon, and if you have level 2 at your house, you can get on Amazon and buy you a level 2 charger for $100. Take the $600. If you're driving, you can go charge, and it goes, you sign up, they sign you up with your email, and then you go to the wallet and you'll see it there like I just showed you. So here it is, man. This is the new 2025 Dodge Charger RT, not Scat Pack, RT, Stage 1. What they call this red eye for the tint color. This color is called red eye. And this is the black top package with these wheels, and you have the black splitter, the black side skirts going all the way around, and the black mirror caps. And I have the glass roof on there. So very nice car. Hope you guys enjoyed a first look at the 2025 Dodge Charger RT Stage 1. See you in the next one. Take care.